Today I'm going to be trying to show you how to replace an AC compressor in the 2017 Ford Fusion Sport. That's with the 2.7 liter EcoBoost. I was doing an oil change and my AC, I know, was kind of acting funny and wasn't really working. So I pulled the bottom plate off, and lo and behold, the compressor clutch was just sitting there. So instead of trying to repair the clutch or anything like that, I decided that now's the time to put a new compressor in. So these vehicles, if you look right here, use the newer R1234YF refrigerant. So I've got a couple bottles of that. Each one's 8 ounces. This system is going to take 18 ounces. So 3 cans exactly should do. I'm sorry, not 3, but 2 and maybe a third. And then the compressor I got does not come pre-oiled, so I've got some PAG 46. If you look down here, that's going to take 5.2 ounces. We've got 8 right there. I've already had the system drained, so I've got lines up. You can see opening, connected, and those are completely empty. So what we'll be doing is going underneath the compressor. You can't see it right now. It's all the way at the bottom of the engine, so should be hopefully a simple process. It's 3 bolts to take the compressor out. Once we've got that out, we'll put the new one in. We'll pull a vacuum on it with the vacuum pump, and then we will add the oil and then refrigerant and hopefully have a working system. So we're underneath the car now. I've just got it up on these little ramps. And this cover right here is what we're going to want to remove. So I don't know exactly how many there are, but they're 10mm bolts. Just take each one out. And you'll see the cover start to come down. And then I've got some back here. And we might not even have to remove the whole thing. So the cover will drop down, and you'll see that the compressor is actually right here. So pretty easily accessible. You got a bolt here. You got another one right behind this connector, which we can actually disconnect that first. You'll slide this cover back, and then you just push on it and then wiggle it off. So that's out of the way. And then so you've got this bolt right here. You got this one, and then unfortunately there's one over on the top side. And I'm not sure yet how I'm going to get that out. I'm not sure if once I take these 2 out, if I'll be able to kind of move the compressor around, and then we will have to loosen the belt and get it off of here. So we're going to get started with that. So we've got the bottom cover removed, and I'm going to start working on this first bolt here, the easiest one to get to, which is a 13mm right there. Yeah, I'll keep recording after I take it off. So interestingly enough, that bolt just comes right off. And it got me wondering, well, if you got that big stud in there, how are you going to get it out? And this thing was just finger loose, so I'm going to pull the whole stud out, and then we'll just rethread that once we get the new one in. Just enough clearance to get that one out. And then the next bolt we're going to work on is right here. You see that? There you go. Right there, that one. It is not a 13. I think it's going to be a 14 or a 15. So we got one out. Not too bad so far. And we're going to work on number 2. I'm really worried for the one that's going to be up here, just because like there's no room with this little frame component here. So that'll be fun. Alrighty, so next thing I did was that bolt right there where the light's shining is your serpentine release pulley. So I got the belt off of the compressor, and just from the looks of it, it looks like the inner area is definitely seized up. So to recap, we've got this bolt out, We also have that bolt out. I think I'm going to work on trying to get the AC lines disconnected, which are right there and right there. And then see if I can rotate this thing at all to give me more leverage, maybe towards me, so I can get up and around. I'm going to have to try to disconnect those two lines first. So upon second look, I had my, let me get my flashlight. I have my socket up there on the AC line. I was like, how am I going to get a better angle at that? And then I looked up through here and I can actually see the top of the compressor. So the change of strategy is we're going to remove this bottom plate. Now you're going to have some 10 mils here. These ones are going to be 7 mil. So I'm going to take this whole bottom cover off and then see if we can get a better angle, maybe through the front of it. All right, now that that covers off, I got this that's just in my way. So there's two 13 mils on each side, and that'll give me all of this open space to get to the front of the compressor. All right, now that we got that off, the only thing that's still on are these little gaskets, which I think will just slide right off. And then these clips right here. So we're gonna do the clips. This will drop down. We should have access to what we need. All right, got those covers off. Here's your intercooler. This is your radiator. And then you've got your condenser up there. But look at that beautiful view of the compressor. So we've got easy access now to both bolts that'll disconnect the AC lines. And we have access to that bolt here from the front. So this will be a much easier job than I initially anticipated. So we're gonna go ahead, get those off, and then we've got one more electrical connector up there to take off, and the whole compressor will be ready to pull down. And then what we'll do from there is we'll plug the lines just to make sure that while there's some downtime that no debris gets in there, and then we'll hopefully get the new compressor in from FedEx and throw it in and do the rest. All right, we got the two bolts that hold the AC lines on out, and now what we're looking at, I got the socket on the last bolt here, and we'll be ready to drop the compressor out, pull the AC lines, plug them with some tape, and then put the new one in. Alrighty, we got the last bolt out, and we're able to pull the AC lines. So that's your low side, and then you've got your high side right here. I'm just gonna put some tape on it just to cover it up while we wait, and then all the bolts are out. I think there's just some seizing happening right around here, so I want the lines off before I start to pry on the compressor too much. Okay, so both lines are off, taped over, just so that no debris gets in them. Now my only dilemma is this one last connector up here, right there. So I put the clutch back, or the compressor back in this little divot right here. It's got a little, I'm not gonna pull it all the way out. I'm gonna try to set the camera up just so that I can kind of narrate what's going on. I'm gonna put it right there, you should be able to see. So I'm gonna pull the compressor out, and I'm gonna kind of rotate it around. I think this is one of those clips where you gotta pull the safety thing out. It's a pain in my ass. And that tape just fell. Sweet. It's a pain in the ass trying to get this one-handed. So not just a push clip. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's the refrigerant leaking out. Sweet. Tell you what, I'm just gonna cut those lines and worry about it afterwards.
Maybe I can get it like this. Got it. Compressor out. Some of the oil from the compressor leaked out when I was rotating it, but got both connectors out. Both lines are disconnected. Now it's ready to just put the new one in. Well, here it is. Here's the old compressor. Now remember, this was the clutch that fell off of it. It turns out it's not seized up. It does still rotate independently, so it looks like it must have just got too hot, or this bolt came out. And either way, I think I hear the FedEx truck coming, so we may be in business. All right, new compressor just came. As you can see, direct replica. We've got the 6 channels that we need, and time to go ahead and get it all installed. These apparently don't come pre-oiled, so we'll have to pull a vacuum, add oil, and then we'll be good to go. All right, good news. We got the compressor reinstalled. Electrical connections here are all good. We've got the lines reconnected. So you got the low line, and then low line there, high line there. Electrical connectors all good. Got the serpentine belt all back on as well. And we're ready to go pull a vacuum on this thing, make sure everything's good. What I'm doing now is adding the oil. So what I did was I zeroed out the scale with the bottle on. It was about 9 ounces or so. And I'm putting oil right into the high side, so it goes right into the compressor. And we're doing that until we get 5.2. Right now we got 2.4, so we're almost halfway there. The vacuum pump's on, that way it sucks the oil right into the system. And we'll then let the vacuum suck all the way down. We'll leave it for about an hour, make sure there's no leaks, and then we'll come back and charge with some Freon. And there's 5.1, 5.2-ish. It keeps bouncing between them. But now we've got 5.2 ounces of the oil into the system, and it's time to suck down the rest of the vacuum. All right, just let the system sit for about an hour. Coming back out, it held its negative 25 inches of mercury. And now we're just vacuuming it for another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to add the refrigerant. At that point, we'll turn the car on, turn the AC system on, and then we'll add it by opening the low side of our system. All right, we got the oil into the compressor now, and that's the oil from the old one. Just so you can see, I got a UV light so you can see how fluorescent it is. We're coming up here, just double checking the connections. The system's under vacuum right now, and everything is looking good. Awesome. Currently we're adding the refrigerant. I don't know, the sight glass might be fogged up now, but the high pressure side's built up to about 100. The low pressure side's just under 30. This is our second can. We're doing about 2 cans worth. It needs 18 ounces. Each of these cans is 8. So 2 of them is 16, and then we need another 2 out of another one. So these cans get really cold. So it sometimes stops the movement, sort of like a really cold propane bottle. But just give it a shake around. Should have some more come out. All right, we're on our 3rd can now, and we only want another 2 or 3 ounces out of it. I did accidentally disconnect the other can while the load side was still on, so I had to quickly close that. So I definitely lost a little bit. So I'm thinking we're gonna do 3 or 4 ounces. So we've got the bottle on here, it's zeroed out. I just put a tiny bit in. So we're gonna go to -4. So that's 0.4 ounces right now. We're gonna go to -4. So we're gonna come up here and slowly open up the low side. And you'll see 5,
6. And we're gonna go until it's 0.4 or 4. Pressure's looking good, 100 on the high. Temperature outside right now is about 57. So it's probably going to go up to about maybe 50 psi. We're at almost 1 ounce in right now. But yeah, I just went inside. Down below, we can come out here, and there's our compressor. You can see the clutch is indeed spinning with the compressor. I just checked it with the UV light. We don't seem to have any leaks. We're at 0.13. Aside from what I showed you earlier, up here, we are golden. All right, went ahead and disconnected the lines. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is some ice cold condensation.